We are super excited to be here in 2023 at Morgan State University. And we have with us Iris Wagstaff, who is a chemist and a researcher and a STEM policy advisor and a diversity, equity, and inclusion an educational consultant with the American Association for the Advancement of Science. She is a sought-after speaker, and Iris works with the HBCU Making an Innovation program at at AAAS and is an NSF investigator. And Iris is going to tell you a bit more about herself in a minute, but before I just want to briefly also introduce Dr. Swan. I'm sure that Mr. Swan, I saw that face, sorry about that. And I'm Miss Ward, so. But Mr. Swan has over 50 years of experience as a researcher. I believe he holds a number of patents as well. He has been engaged in the technology transfer field for quite some time and actually founded the Technology Transfer Office here at Morgan. I believe this might be about the third one, which is great. So I don't know if we have Dr. Lillard yet.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. And Dr. Lillard is at Morehouse University.
Welcome. Good afternoon. I'm from the South also, North Carolina. Before I get started, I just want to thank Joyce Ward and Portia Deans and the planning team for inviting me. I'm really excited to be here. This is my first time, I think, on campus. So I'm really excited to be here today. And again, before I start, I just want to take a moment and pause. Since we are at the halfway mark of Black History Month, I just want to honor the work and the contributions of the pioneers like Jim West and Dr. Lawrence and Dr. Shirley Jackson and the many people of color, African Americans to be exact, who have made significant contributions, not only to this country, but to the world, to make the world a better place. We stand on their shoulders, and the work that I'm doing is trying to continue that legacy. We continue to be the people who take little and transform it into much. So I just want to just pause and just acknowledge those contributions. So my name is Iris Wagstaff, and I am a STEM program director at the American Association for the Advancement of Science, or AAAS, which a lot of people have not heard of. Most people know us from Science Magazine, but we are the largest general scientific association in the world. We're actually celebrating our 175th anniversary this year. We have over 100,000 members from around the world. But at AAAS, one of the initiatives that I manage within my portfolio that's really focused on broadening participation in STEM and advancing innovation capacity at HBCUs is an initiative called the HBCU Making an Innovation Initiative that's funded by the National Science Foundation. And we have been thrilled to have a valued partner with the USPTO since the beginning of this initiative in 2018. And the goals are really to advance innovation capacity as well as in the entrepreneurship, invention, and making arena at HBCUs. And we do this through a community of practice. So one of the key components is our annual HBCU Making and Innovation Showcase. We send a call to all 104 HBCUs, and we ask for student teams along with a faculty advisor to develop a prototype or an innovation in response to one of the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And if you're not familiar with those goals, all of them have to do with improving the quality of life. So eradicating hunger, poverty, education. And then another component that I feel strongly about is helping students learn that the STEM expertise that they are developing, they can use that to address issues in their community and issues that they care about. So that's also a key component. And we just had our annual showcase in September, and we were thrilled to have Deputy Director Brent serve as a plenary speaker for that showcase. In addition to the annual showcase, we have year-long e-mentoring and coaching with these teams. And a big part of this project is that it's not just for students. We're also working to help develop faculty from a professional standpoint. So we connect these students and faculty teams with entrepreneurs and innovators of color, people that can help them with like crowdsourcing, funding, learning about IP. We always have partners from USPTO come present on patents and trademarks and intellectual property. And then a third component is we are developing an HBCU Innovation Resources Toolkit and Virtual Tech Transfer Office. So we love to talk with you about that. So that's just, a high level snapshot of that initiative at AAAS. It's the only HBCU focused initiative at AAAS. So I am always looking for partners and collaborators and really trying to expand and extend this work. So I'll keep it short, but I can answer questions about that later. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Iris and Mr. Swan. And somehow I think this is going to be a really interesting and full exchange.
Yes. Well, thank you. I guess I'll add a little bit finer point on some of my experiences to kind of set and lay out the programs that we have here at Morgan. I brought a few slides today to kind of summarize that as talking points, because there's a lot here and we're so short on time today. So yes, I have a 50-year career, about 25 years in the private sector. I started out for 14 years working in bioreactors and biocatalysis. Yes, I am an inventor many times over, and a number of my inventions ended up being commercial products. So I had that kind of experience before I went into tech transfer. But I also have about 11 years experience, rounding out my 25 years in private sector as an entrepreneur in a few startup companies, developing new products, commercializing them, getting them online, in stores and Amazon, things along those lines. So the experience in that. But today we're going to focus, I think, more on technology transfer and setting up offices. The first office I set up was in 1986, before tech transfer was a common term and anybody really knew what it meant. And that was at College Park in 1986. And then in 1999, I started the tech transfer office at Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Lab. APL does about $1.7 billion in research a year. And then I retired early to do some entrepreneur things and do some gardening and sitting on the beach. But I'm kind of an impatient person, and I was asked in 2016 to help Morgan start a tech transfer office. I saw it as a great opportunity to give back, wrote a strategic plan, and then Dr. Wilson, who was a visionary leader here, Dr. Wilson took our strategic plan and got funding from the state legislature. And that was key to me sitting here today. I think I have maybe another slide up here and tell you a little bit about, I think I can tell you a little bit about our programs. So we have a vision and a mission and underlying goals. And for those goals, we give ourselves tasks. So the tasks have to be aligned with our goals to stay focused, and our goals support our mission to achieve our vision. So that's the underlying premise of how I set up a tech transfer office. Stay aligned, stay focused, stay in your lane. Don't look at shiny objects over here, and don't look at shiny objects over here. Stay focused. So these are our 4 goals, and I'll go through a few of our programs. Our InReach program, one of the first ones was our Innovation of the Year awards. We have a ceremony. We give out awards to faculty, staff, students. We give it awards in information science, physical science, life sciences, student innovator of the year awards, patent plaques to our patent awardees, our inventors. We also have a very successful and very popular iWorks program to fund early stage innovation concept to proof of principle to prototype grants. And we've done 101 of those grants over 5 years. And those are very popular because at an HBCU that has minimal funding, minimum opportunities for even buying materials and supplies, let alone, we're able to fund those projects, move those along the commercialization pathway. And then with those results, our faculty are able to go out and get other funding, funding from our partners, economic development partners, tech transfer partners, business and industry. And in 5 years, we generated over $5 million to the university in those kinds of technology development funds. And in technology licensing, we operated on a technology push market pull, wherein we have technologies developed and we do a technology push. And our website, which I invite everybody to go and look at, so a lot more details there. We have probably almost all of our inventions are up there for industry to look at. Our patents that have issued, we have 18 so far. 4 have been allowed, and we expect USPTO to issue those in the next 2 months. And we have 34 other utility patents pending. So we have a breadth of opportunities in technology transfer, but in the market pull side, we partner with industry. There's a very successful program called MIPS, Maryland Industrial Partnerships. We partner with industry, try to solve their problems on a market pull. What does the market need? And a lot of times the best outcome is a combination of our expertise and the market needs combined with industry. On economic development, we focus on benefit to the city, the state. There's one of our partners there is TEDCO and our Maryland Innovation Initiative. I sit on the MII board, and we get funding along those things. As also, several of our companies have gotten investments from TEDCO. And finally, I believe in best practices, especially when you're starting at an office. Start under best practices and move forward rather than start out with something and try to then raise it to best practices. So in that regard, we have a new IP policy, new conflict of interest policy, new procedures and the like. So next slide. To give you kind of a sense of the outcomes, outputs. In 2016, we wrote the strategic plan. We had full funding in 2018, and you can see the increases in several of our outputs, 2 of our outputs, and 1 of our outcomes here. And output measures intellectual property, IP disclosures, which are our innovations. New U.S. patent applications follow, and outcomes are technology transfer agreements, issued patents, licenses and technologies, and startup companies. And so right now our portfolio exists of over 180 innovations. We average a new innovation every 12 days at Morgan. We have at least 1 student innovator on 34% of our innovations coming in. Over 90% of our innovations have minority participation. 25% are outside of engineering sciences. We're looking at a breadth of technologies in humanities and social sciences as well. 30 departments and units, 10 schools, colleges, 10 startup companies. We do 2 a year. 18 issues patents, and I said soon to be 22. And there are 34. And you can find a lot of this information and more on our website.
Thank you so much, Mr. Swan. We're going to try Dr. Lillard again at Morehouse.
Yeah. I'm James Lillard. I'm professor and the senior associate dean for research, innovation, and commercialization at Morehouse School of Medicine. I'm a National Academy of Inventors Fellow, AAAS Fellow, Distinguished Fellow of AAI. So I'm a scientist and inventor as well. some of my, I haven't been as fortunate or had the same grace as my colleague, Mr. Wayne here, but at least some of my technologies failed in phase 2 or phase 3 clinical trials, but we hope to have a couple of them reach the market soon in biohazard remediation products. But so I helped, well, I started the tech transfer office at Morehouse School of Medicine about 13 years ago. You know, so we have a couple of late stage drugs that are in late stage clinical trials, 3 biohazard remediation products that have just reached the market now, and a handful of other technologies in our pipeline. And we've been recognized by Forbes magazine for having the most patents filed and some success. We've also launched 12 startups over the year. I guess I'll stop there and look forward to answering any questions.
So, thank you, Dr. Lillard. Now, just in terms of what I heard, that Morehouse has the most patents, I believe I heard. I heard that Morgan is up and coming and working on a number of patents, possibly 22 by the end of the year. And then I know that Iris, or Dr. Wagstaff, in your work with AAAS, you are introducing students to that process. And I think all of us want to see greater participation within the innovation ecosystem. So my question to each of you is how do we do that? But what challenges have you faced with the work that you do? And I'll start with Dr. Wagstaff.
So first off, I'll start, and I definitely have to acknowledge my team. I have a small team, so I'd like to acknowledge Mila White at AAAS, who's a co-PI on this NSF grant, along with me, Senior Project Director, Allison Gonzalez, Claire Malloy, AAAS leadership, and it starts with our CEO, Sudip Parikh, who has been extremely supportive of this effort, our unit director, Travis York, and the incomparable Shirley Malcolm, who's been very supportive of this work. So we have a very small team. I write grants to get this work funded. Currently, it's funded by the National Science Foundation. So I would just say some challenges are thinking about sustainability beyond the grant, expanding the program and expanding the reach. We send a call out to all 104 HBCUs, but we kind of get the typical schools each year. So we're really trying to reach out within the diversity of HBCUs around the country, the smaller schools, the more rural schools, the schools that don't have resources, you know, like a Morgan State or a Howard or an A&T. So really trying to reach those schools who really have few resources. So, and again, sustainability and really expanding the reach and helping these students and faculty serve as ambassadors on their campuses, because the only way you can advance capacity is for the students who have participated in our showcases since 2018 is to take that knowledge and information and resources back to their schools to serve as ambassadors and help bring up the next generation of innovators. So I would just say, you know, resources, reach, sustainability, and expansion.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Swan.
Yes, well, first, I want to also acknowledge the fine work at Morehouse. Morehouse and Howard have both been leaders in the HBCU community in getting issued patents. I think we do statistical analysis of all output metrics, looking at goals for us. And I think, yes, in the next year or two, we'll be up there with Morehouse and Howard and issued patents. We expect that. As far as challenges, a lot of challenges in my 50 years, but I'm going to focus on tech transfer offices. First, I'd have to say is the challenge is setting up a new program. College Park, people really didn't know what tech transfer was. That was a challenge to get introduced. At APL, they're more of a government laboratory. It was not part of their fabric, so to speak. And Morgan, was a latecomer in this, didn't have a lot of bandwidth in research expenditures. But I'd have to say that, when you're looking at challenges, the biggest challenge is getting the funding and commitment. I've taught courses in innovation and technology management. And one of the things is strategic dissonance, where a leader will come in and the board will come in and say, this is what we want to do. Here's our strategy. And let's say the grassroots of that operation are supportive. But a lot of times you have strategic dissonance because it's something new. It's something different. It's something we haven't done before. It's something that's going to change us, something we don't do. So I have found great support at Morgan. I think probably the best that I've had in my career of doing that. Ongoing challenge for our office. We're down one technology transfer manager, so if anybody's listening. But really it's time management. We're getting a new innovation every 12 days. Our portfolio is growing. It's like it's snowing 30 inches a year and it never melts. So you have to keep shoveling. I need more shovels in the office. But when you're looking at it, we have to be very cognizant of the focus point I was talking about earlier. And to the students out there, try to keep your focus. Try to keep your goals in mind. Look at your tasks for your goals, for what your mission will be, for the vision of where you want to be and where you want to take your organization.
Thank you. And Dr. Lillard.
Yes, I'll be brief. Just echo what Mr. Swan just mentioned. Patents or intellectual property files a function of research expenditures. So we're focused primarily on biomedical research. So no engineering school, computer science, mechanical engineering, which markets tend and products, technology seem to enter the marketplace a lot faster. So that's been a bit of a handicap. And like other HBCUs, our numbers are small. At any given time, we're a graduate school, so any given time we have 800 students, 200 to 300 faculty, and I would say maybe 10 to 15 of those have robust research programs that will result in some invention disclosure. So you can imagine that a school like that with a community-based focus-based medical school has to focus much of our resources on education, training, and other focus areas, which can be at times limits our success and growth. For example, we don't have a technology manager, kind of a one-stop shop, one size fits all approach. But I will say that we're doing much more in terms of licensing other intellectual property other than patents, but things like copyright, trademarks, data. It's kind of a form of copyright slash data. So the licensing of different data insights is a new trend that I'm observing.
Thank you very much. And so I want to just ask each of you, I know Mr. Swan, you mentioned that you had, I believe I heard one student who was involved, or one student inventor, I think was the term that you used.
34% of our intellectual property disclosures, our innovations, have at least one student on them, a third.
Okay, that is great.
And they're both undergraduates and graduate students.
That is amazing. So my question to you and my question to all of the panelists is, how do we get more students engaged, or how do we get more students involved?
Well, the question is to me first, I guess.
Yes.
So you have to be cognitive about what you want to do. You have to be pointed. We have our very popular IGAP program that funds, I mentioned earlier, funds programs. And a lot of that funding goes to students. Students get engaged in experiential learning opportunities of an innovation that's already started. They get to actually become a co-inventor on patent applications and issued patents, by the way. So it's that experience. Plus, I've had several of them come back actually after graduating and mention to me that they still remember all of what they learned as they've moved out into the private sector about intellectual property, about innovation, what makes innovation tick, about copyright, patent, trademark, even trade secrets, tangible properties, all those things. They've learned a lot, and they've learned about how to become an inventor, and in fact, that everybody is an innovator. Everybody can innovate. We give awards for innovations for faculty, yes, but also staff that impact our operations here at Morgan. Innovation is within our fabric. And I think that translates down to students. So when you're looking at a university that is about education, research, and public service, the education part, obviously, in innovation can't be dismissed. The research side, we've doubled our research expenditures in the past 3 years. And in public service, economic development, $1.1 billion of economic impact Morgan University has on the state of Maryland, and $640 million impact in the city of Baltimore. That all intertwines. It's all part of our fabric.
Wow, wow, that is quite an ecosystem. Dr. Wagstaff, you are going to have the final word. I saw a red flag back there, so I know we only have a few minutes left. But please tell us how you're engaging students.
Okay. Yeah, I would say, events like this, education, outreach, awareness, really just expanding the definition, broadening the definition of making an innovation. You don't have to have a degree to be a maker or innovator. I mean, many of us could probably think about our grandmothers who, again, took little and transformed it into much. If you are addressing any kind of problem, if you're trying to make a process better, if you're trying to address some type of issue, you are a maker and an innovator. So just really education and expanding that definition, continued partners and partnerships and collaborations like we're grateful to have with Joyce and the USPTO. I'd like to acknowledge another one of our partners, Lakeisha Greenwade of Wearable Tech Ventures. You're going to hear from her on the last day. She and Joyce both serve on our advisory board for this HBCU Making an Innovation effort. So we are always looking for partners and collaborators. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn if you'd like to discuss that. And again, just really expanding the awareness of these opportunities for students and faculty wherever you are. In your career or educational level, you can engage in this type of work. So we are really focused on just expanding awareness and engagement to increase access and opportunity. And just for a quick example, I'm a chemist. And I'll just use an example of the Black hair care industry. I started out in the chemical industry with the Roman Haas company who invented acrylic polymers. So if the women in here have fake nails, weave, or extension, you are using acrylic polymers. All coatings in here are acrylic. So African Americans, particularly African American women, represent 90% consumers in this industry, but less than 1% ownership. So think about how we can own the products that we consume. Just start there with the Black hair care industry as an example.
Thank you.
Well said.
Yes, agreed. Well, thank you very much. We're going to have a few final comments from Dr. Lillard.
I think something I've seen, we've established a couple of online, or more than one online program, a master's in biotechnology that's is actually ranked number 2 now by Intelligent.com, ahead of schools like University of Maryland or Johns Hopkins in your area, out of 155 other online programs. So one of the courses is a practicum in biotech or health informatics, where students go through an 8-week course in I-Core, Innovation Corps is like the Marine Corps. ICORPS. I highly encourage your students to, or all students to participate in that. I even have them go through an accelerated one for their dissertation where you get to find out where a given technology has a place in the marketplace and also learn the ecosystem that a product or solution may fit in. That teaches them a whole bunch about what these inventions and hopefully eventually a patent and a license agreement lead to a product in the marketplace that solves some problem. And number two, we're also launching a, if you will, the business of science course that I'm wanting all of our students to begin to take. That you'll get exposed to everything from intellectual property, its governance, so IP law, corporate law, how to start a company, as well as how transactions are done, and even venture capital. So I think exposing our students to more of that, as well as look for opportunities, and if you have a career advancement office, I think both the student and those career advancement reps can look for opportunities in industry, maybe even in a venture fund that really gives some unique insight into how technologies make it into the marketplace. So I think all of those things can be helpful.
Thank you, Dr. Lillard. And I want to thank Mr. Swan and also Dr. Wagstaff for being here today and for sharing with us how education can serve as an engine to spur more technology transfer. Thank you so much to all of you.